For us, it's a daily thing.
It's every day, right?
This is Mammoth Daily
We're going to take you inside the locker room
with Mike Fulta.
We want this show to be about the fans, and we want this show to be driven by our Utah Mammoth community.
And Adrian Denny.
Fans can submit what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear Utah weigh in on. It's all going to be here.
Here's Mike and AD with you.
Utahns, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Right here on Mammoth Daily.
Mike Fulta and Adrian Denny here with you on your Friday free-for-all episode of Mammoth Daily. Adrian, I would like to introduce you to Vacation Mike. This is a different person, one who is on the show for the first time. It's an honor and a privilege to be here, but normal 9 to 5 Mike, gone. Vacation Mike has arrived.
After the Mammoth beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-1, Bear said we were clear, right? Didn't want to talk about the break until after the game. And Andre Tourigny dismissed everybody to the break. And guess what, Mike? We're still here. Well, I'm still here. And Vacation Mike is filling in for Mike. So yes, that's appreciated because I like to have somebody to bounce stuff off, you know.
This is a mammoth floral Hawaiian shirt, though. Do you see this tusk right here?
I do. I love that.
These were sent to me and Tyson Nash, a fan of the Nashcast, sent them in. Weren't sure what we were going to get, but open it up to find these beautiful floral shirts. Got my sunglasses, a little bit of SPF 200 right here. When you're Polish and Irish, that's what you need to protect you from the sun south of the border. AD, I'm hitting up Mexico. Some Mammoth fans down there, from what I've heard. If not, we're gonna create some. But hitting up Mexico for a couple days. I'll go back home for a little bit. What are you gonna be up to during the break?
Do you know what, Mike? I've been asked that, and how perfect is this? How lucky am I? All I want to do is ski Utah. So I'm going to be skiing for the next couple weeks every single day. We're getting some storms next week, but spring skiing conditions right now, it's been fine. It's still the greatest snow on earth. And Mike, the great thing about it, you know, the 6 years that I wasn't here, it's all I thought about. I snuck back here on every occasion, between games on road trips, between games on homestands, if I could sneak out, if the team had a day off, and then was practicing off-site and didn't look like I was missing anywhere. So to be back here, to have the greatest snow on earth, less than a half hour away, I'm not going anywhere in the winter ever here in Utah.
I would have thought, because I know how thin your blood is now from spending time in Tucson, I would have thought you would have wanted to get back to some warm weather here in the month of February. That was never an option.
Didn't even think about it.
Wow.
Had some family check in, see if we wanted to go to Hawaii. And I said, we can go to Hawaii in the summer when it's not ski season. And we're not going to Hawaii.
I have a genuine question. And like, I grew up skiing. We would ski at Snow Basin a little bit when I was a kid. We'd come out to Utah. I love to go ski, but I am not a good enough skier where it's easy for me. Like it's very taxing. And so like when I have a ski day, I look forward to it. I'm like, there's a ramp up for me to get into it, you know, to get ready for a ski day. And then there's also kind of the denouement. There's the downhill from it, right? There's, oh my gosh, okay, I need like to relax a day after a day on the slopes. You go like every day. And I'm not asking this facetiously. Does it ever get old?
No, it doesn't. It's all I think about. It's my favorite thing to do outside of hockey, outside of being a broadcaster. and I love it. You're up there on a bluebird day. I think Utah probably has more bluebird days, which is just blue sky and sunshine on a ski day. It's beautiful. We got some really good resorts. I'm a Brighton guy. It's where I learned how to ski. Did several years at Solitude, but switched back to Brighton probably 7 years ago. So just have the season pass, and we'll scoot up anytime there's even 2 hours to get in 7-8 runs.
And you go to the same place too. So it's just like, as a Midwesterner, it's hard for me to understand the priority that you and so many of our great fans and our neighbors here in Utah, the priority that you put on skiing. Like I couldn't imagine doing anything every day like that. How do you explain that?
Some people are that way with golf, which I am not. I've never been able to pick it up. It's you saw me at Top Golf with my golf lessons that I got during our event.
I get you at Top Golf and you at axe throwing mixed up because they were similar motions.
There's skiing though, you can say, and I can say it's one thing that I'm pretty confident in, and love watching the weather. I watched the weather all winter, and it's been one of those winters, Mike. I've given you a lot of meteorology, especially over the last couple of weeks, because we haven't had a storm since early January. And I'm watching the weather, and I've got my weather app, and we've got some storms coming in next week, and it's all I've been thinking about since Chase Thomason over at 2 News tweeted last Thursday, right before the Carolina game. I don't want to get anybody excited, but there's a possibility that we've got a storm 12 days away. And I took it to be in permanent marker, and I've been living by it. And next week, it looks like we have four days where it's going to snow, at least up at the resorts.
All right. Well, enjoy. I'm excited for you. I hope to. Go ahead.
Isn't it awesome, though, to live in a spot that you want a vacation in and just get the car and jet up?
I was explaining this to someone, how strange it is for me here, because I've been here. This is my second year now, and it's still strange for me because the other places I've lived, and I've lived a bunch of places. I've lived in the Midwest. I've lived in the South. I've never lived in a place that people move to just because of the place. Like, people move to Utah to ski, to be next to the nature and the mountains, right? People come to college at the U, at BYU, to be close to the mountains, which is incredible. But the other, like, 4 places that I've lived, that's not a thing. You'd live there just because you're from there. And so you meet people with a different list of priorities in these different spots, where being in nature, skiing, whatever your fancy is, that's much higher up on the priority list of a lot of people out here compared to people where I'm from. This is just my perspective. We're getting a little philosophical here on a Friday free-for-all, but it is a Friday free-for-all.
It is, Mike, and it's our last episode that's going to roll until Monday, February 23rd. We may be around intermittently. When news breaks out, we'll break in. We won't let anything pass by without jumping in here on Mammoth Daily, but it is our last episode. And Mike, you know me, the last thing on skiing, I do not like to be cold. I will wear long johns to practice. I have a space heater in the Mountain Blue Studios.
Wait. What?
Yeah, I'll throw on long johns if it's
at
a
the
cold day and
the rink in Sandy.
Sure. Yeah.
Like you're wearing your slacks and you've got long johns underneath those?
I've done it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like to be cold, but I love to ski. I love sunshine, and I love to ski, but I don't like to be cold. I've got my space heater in the Mountain Blue Studios. You know how I get bundled up, and I'm very prepared anywhere I go, so I'm not going to get cold. But Mike, speaking of sunshine and warmth, where are you going? We're in Mexico.
Puerto Vallarta.
All right.
Yeah, on the Pacific side, if you are familiar. So, never been south of the border. someone was asking me, "Do you have your passport?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we work in Canada like a quarter of the year." Did I ever tell the story of how when I was working in the minor leagues, we traded a guy who forgot his passport on one trip? Did I ever tell you that?
No, I haven't heard it, but I've heard it happening.
It was at the trade deadline, um, and trade deadline for our league, and we were going on like a 3-game Canadian trip, and our 8th defenseman didn't bring his passport and realized at the airport, like, by this time it's too late. Ship's leaving the dock here, and we traded him. Now, him leaving his passport wasn't the only reason he got traded. Like, there were a lot of other things going on within that organization at the time, roster wise. But it was. I like to tell it as if, yeah, he forgot his passport. Boom, you're out. you're on a bus to Hartford.
I can go on the same level there, Mike. In 2007 with the Grizzlies, we were in Bakersfield. We'd come from Alaska. We got a couple days in Bakersfield. And so we thought, well, let's go to the Price is Right. It's only 2.5 hours down the road. So we booked tickets to the Price is Right. And so we left Bakersfield at 2 a.m. in our bus to get down to Hollywood by like 5 a.m. so we could get in line to get on the Price is Right. And on the way to the Price is Right, we stopped off at LAX and dropped off a player who we were releasing that day. And then we continued on to the Price is Right, where one of our players ended up winning the showcase showdown and winning it all. He was the last player called up, and it was a magical day. But I will never forget pulling up to LAX at 4:45 with a bunch of guys hopped up on sugar, getting ready to go to the Price is Right, and we're dropping off a guy to go home because we're releasing him.
or even worse, like, guy gets traded while you're on the road and has to stay on the road with you guys, or like come back on the bus after a game, right? You
Yep.
get some interesting situations. Anything hockey related, anything from the last game you want to get to here? Well, we've got Sam Farnsworth from KSL 5 that's going to join us here in a little bit with a special international report here on Mammoth Daily. But before we get there, AD, anything Olympic related, anything from last game or from the last stretch of games that you want to get to?
I think 12-5-1 from Christmas to the Olympic break is exactly what you would have hoped for, right? They got on a run. They had 9 straight games without losing in regulation. Stubbed their toe in Carolina, lost to Dallas, but got it back on track and had 2 really nice games, outscoring Vancouver Canucks and Detroit Red Wings by a count of 10-3 over the final 2. So it was a productive month and a half. Bear talked about the benchmarks. You want to be in a playoff spot at Thanksgiving, want to be in a playoff spot at Christmas, playoff spot at the Olympic break, and then the next one is playoff spot at the end of the year. And the Mammoth have hit those 3 for 3, and they were able to take advantage of the home ice at the Delta Center, 8-1-1 in 2026. So exactly what we forecasted, 500 at Christmas, and then kicked it into gear on that road trip to the East Coast and back home for 7 straight, and got that split on that 4-game trip out to the winter wonderland of Nashville, and then Tampa, Florida, and Carolina. Got to a 4. It's a 500 trip, and then back home to take 2 of 3 and 2 straight to go into the break. So I think Utah should feel pretty pleased about it, and I think they do, Mike. It was a happy group, and they were all business on Wednesday night as they took care of the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, and I think if you want to use Christmas as a benchmark, going back, what is this now, 17, 18 games back to Christmas, how many games of those are minus games where you didn't play well and you didn't play well enough to win, right? I think you could You could make an argument the Nashville game right after Christmas where you blow all those leads. Like, that's a minus game. Should have won that one. You played well enough to win, I guess. But when you blow 3 leads, that's an issue. The 4-1 loss at New Jersey on January 3rd didn't really have much going in that game. You lose 3-2 at home to Dallas a few games ago, and you're drastically outplayed. You're probably lucky to just be within 1 at the end of that one. But really, that's 3 games out of 18 where I feel like you didn't give yourself a chance to win. Those were like what I would call minus games. Everything else, you either got a result when maybe you were outplayed a little bit, but you executed and you came through in big moments. You flat out won the game, or you were the better team and maybe came up just a little bit short, like against Tampa. Maybe put that Carolina game into that category as well, because Utah did. I mean, you're up by 2 with 2 minutes left in the game. But how many of those games were like bad kind of clunkers? Really, 3 of 18 for the Mammoth? What I would say. So you're getting pretty consistent performance out of this group, and it's been recently where they've been turning that consistent performance into results more than they were in January and parts of December. And like you said, right where you want to be. And it's not just a wild card spot; it's the number 1 wild card spot right now. I know. As we record this, there are a couple of games on Thursday night. LA and Vegas play. That wouldn't affect Utah. But you're going to head into the break in that top wild card spot, which it's as much about points as it is the number of teams that you're ahead of or behind, right? So really good spot. You want to get into it? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Mike, and we talk about forecasting, what it was like going into Christmas and New Year's, what it was like with the 7-game homestand in January as the schedule starts to normalize a bit. You didn't forecast being without Logan Cooley for the last 28 games before the Olympic break. And the record is 16-11-1 without him, but you lost the first 3 games. So you're 16-8-1 in your last 25 games with Logan Cooley.
Really
and
good.
I don't think we've talked enough about not having Alexander Kerfoot for all but 9 games this season too. That's a glue guy that is on your 4th line, that's killing penalties, that's in your locker room during game and practice situations, and he hasn't been there.
And he's one of those consistent guys too. He's one of those guys where you don't need to worry about him bringing his A game on a night in, night out basis. That's a great call out too, because we have been given a lot of attention to the Logan Cooley narrative, but the Kerfoot absence is notable as well. Let's look ahead to the Olympics. Obviously, all of our eyes turn to Milan here. Going to be incredible games. You want to each pick 2 or 3 storylines that we're looking at heading into these Olympic Games, AD, hockey wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to lead off, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Let's start at the top. Let's start with Team USA, who was an overtime bounce, some Jordan Binnington saves from winning the 4 Nations face-off last year. They've come back. They've adjusted, added Clayton Keller to the roster. Could have used another goal, Mike, in that championship game. I know a guy who could have got one or helped manufacture it. So I think that's big. I think the USA goes into it in a great spot with a complete team. For Canada, it's just going to go back to their goaltending. Their goaltenders are under 500 this year, and Jordan Binnington is a big reason for that, right? Darcy Kemper and Logan Thompson have winning records, but the Canadian goaltending is always the thing you look at there. But for Team USA, do we say after losing in overtime, are they the favorites, Mike, in the second year?
Gosh, what does Vegas say? Like, who is the actual favorite? That's what I want to know. It's hard for me to say that without. I mean, you don't have a McKinnon, you don't have a McDavid, you don't have a Crosby, you don't even have the leading scoring American player, Jason Robertson. He's not even on the team. right?
Yeah.
Like the leading scoring. Where do you guess, as we pull up the stats right now? This is Thursday. We're recording this. Adrian, where would you guess the leading scoring American forward ranks in the league scoring leaderboard outside of Jason Robertson, who's
Outside
10.
of Jason Robertson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
18th?
No, it's 11.
It's 11. Okay.
It's Jack Eichel at 11. He has 66 points.
Okay.
But let me count the Canadian forwards ahead of the top scoring American forward who's on the Team USA roster. McDavid, McKinnon, Celebrini. Scheifele's not on Team Canada, correct? He's not on the team. So there's 3. There's McKinnon, McDavid, and Celebrini. You also have Leon Draisaitl for Team Germany, Pasternak, McKinnon, Kucherov, Kaprizov, obviously Russian, not going to be at the Olympics, and Mikko Rantanen for the Finns. So you have a lot of the major powers except Sweden represented in those top scoring forward groups at the top of the league, and you have to go all the way to 11 before you get to Jack Eichel, who is amazing, right? Like he's incredible, but the high end forwards, like you have to give the advantage to Team Canada. I think the U.S. has better defense, more dynamic defense. You think of Quinn Hughes, you think of Werenski. That's going to be unbelievable to watch. We didn't get to see Quinn Hughes with Team USA last year. He was injured for 4 Nations. So really excited to see what he brings to the table. I don't know if he's going to be playing with Werenski or not, but those two are going to be fantastic. And U.S. should have a goaltending edge. I think they have the edge in defense. And what we saw, remember how we saw in 4 Nations, the intensity with which teams defended? Like it wasn't pond hockey. Like sometimes you see at international competitions. Like the 4 Nations, USA, Canada was incredibly intense Stanley Cup playoff style hockey where you need those good defensive forwards. That's why guys like Vincent Trocheck made the team, to kill penalties and win faceoffs, because possession is going to be so important.
Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland, and Czechia in that order on the favorites to win the gold medal. So Canada and the USA, the odds-on favorites to be in the gold medal game.
Should be fun. Okay, so that was your first. Let's go a little rapid fire here before we get to Sam Farnsworth. My first big storyline that I want to watch is I want to see JJ Peterka play alongside the best with Team Germany. Sounds like he could play with some combination of Tim Stützle, Leon Draisaitl, those types of guys. I want to see Peterka playing with those guys, and we know that JJ is a scorer. We've seen him in Utah now for more than half a season. He helped lead Germany to a medal a few years ago at World Championships. He's been very successful with Team Germany on the international stage, going back to World Juniors where he played with Tim Stützle. But watching JJ Peterka get an opportunity to play with those guys is going to be is very interesting to me.
I'm going to go with Team Czechia. Mike, we're rooting for all of our guys, right? And it's going to be fun to watch every single day and see Mammoth skaters representing 4 different countries. But I got a soft spot for Team Czechia, the team, the 5th highest favorites to win gold. And I like the roster. Thomas Hertl, Marty Necas, David Pasternak. They've got 3 really good goalies, too. Kravamelka, Dan Vladar, Lukáš Dostal. Mike, those guys, their record in the NHL this year is maybe the best, I think, of any country in the Olympics. They've got a combined record of 65, 35, and 9. Dostal, Vejmelka, and Vladar. 21-13-2 for Dostal, Vejmelka, 26-14-2.
Do we know who's starting the first game?
17-8-5.
Do we know who's starting that first game against Canada? Like, is it presumed that it's Vejmelka or Dostal? I would imagine it's one of those two.
Yeah, I've not heard.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of Lukasz Dostal, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if it's either one of those guys.
Veggie's got more international experience. He's a little older. He's going to be 30. So if you're looking at
Yeah.
either or, right? Take the guy the most experience, and Vemelka's been at a number of world championships for Czechia and had success.
Yeah, yeah, and he played for, as you just said, the Czechs and international competition. My next big storyline, AD, is which superpower loses a game they shouldn't, and what are the ramifications of that? Does it affect the way we see certain players? Does it affect legacy? Is it a goaltending issue? Is that why one of these teams lost? And when I say superpowers, I mean really those 5 teams that you mentioned. US, Canada, Sweden, Finland, and Czechia. You know, if all of a sudden Latvia, who did win, was it World Championships they won a few years back, or the juniors, or they won something international a few years back. I should know. Great notes by me. Way to be prepared. But it's like if one of these kind of lower tier teams knocks off one of the big dogs, what are the ramifications of that? You have to think we're due for an upset somewhere between pool play and then the tournament. But anxious to see who gets knocked off, what are the ramifications, and whose legacy either gets elevated or tarnished out of the result.
In pool play, Mike, you've got, as you said, Czechia and Canada in the first game. For Team USA, you have to look at the third game with Germany, right? Is their biggest test of pool play. They play Latvia next Thursday. They play Denmark on Saturday. Canada moves on to Switzerland and France after Czechia. You've got Finland with Olli Mata playing Slovakia, Sweden, and Italy. That Finland-Sweden game, Mike, that's going to take place next Friday. Those teams are 3rd and 4th, with Sweden as a slight favorite to win the gold medal among
And
those
they hate
teams
each
behind
other.
the U.S. and Canada.
Like that's a big rivalry. If you didn't know, it's similar to U.S. Canada. The Finns and the Swedes, they do not get along on the international hockey stage. So that will be a pressure packed matchup. But can't wait for that. AD, what's your third and final storyline you're looking at?
Just want to give a shout out to Olli Mata. What a compliment to him. There's only about a dozen guys that are participating in ice hockey in the Olympics for the second time in the NHL. So Olli did it as a kid, and now where are we? He's in his
30,
14th,
I think.
Yeah, almost. He's in his teens for NHL seasons, right? Like 14th NHL season, and doing it again. And you know, we've talked about our depth, but Team Finland selected him for 4 Nations, obviously, and for the Olympics. And Olli got a bronze in 2014. Mike, they beat USA in Sochi to get the bronze. So he's an Olympic medalist. So going to be watching Finland and rooting for Finland because Kevin Stenlund is from Sweden and he's not on the team.
Well, Olli Mata scored a goal in that bronze medal game as well.
Yeah.
They killed the Americans. It was like 5-1. He got to play with Teemu Selanne on that. He's talked to us about how cool and how special that was for him as, I think, an 18-year-old. I believe Olli was the youngest player ever to represent Finland on the national team. I think he did it as a 16-year-old at one point in his career. But he's 31 years of age, by the way. We were trying to figure that out. First NHL season in 2013. My next kind of big question, the big thing that I'm looking at, not specific here, but just want to know which player becomes a household name that wasn't already. It could be maybe one of the depth guys on US Canada that maybe the casual fans don't know about. Us hockey nerds, we know all these guys on the US and Canada roster, but who's the one player that comes through and scores a big goal? Maybe it's Team Italy. Maybe it's a local hero who scores a big goal in a big game and and it's a guy we learn about. Is it possible for one of these international players to earn an NHL contract? All of a sudden, we're getting a look at the best on best in the world here without the Russians. And is it possible for one of these guys to impress and potentially earn a contract? We see that at World Juniors, right? World Juniors is where scouts get a lot of great data for younger players playing against the best in the NHL. So, or the best at their level before they get to the NHL. So, who's the one player? That's something I'm looking at. But anything else on the Olympics to get to, AD? We haven't dove in fully, as you can tell, but we're obviously very excited about it.
Yeah, it starts next Wednesday. The first games will take place. Friday is going to be the busiest day. There's going to be 4 games on Friday, so clear the schedule. But we'll have hockey, every day. Time zones are a little different, so it's not going to be a wall-to-wall thing like March Madness, but we'll get our hockey. And I liked what you said about, who can come out of the Olympics from, a country like Italy and earn a contract. At the World Championships every year, there's GMs over there, and there's guys that get signed to depth deals from good performances on the international stage.
8-hour difference between Milan and the Mountain Time Zone, by the way. They are 8 hours ahead. So factor that in. Clayton Keller will be representing Team USA, Olli Maatta for Team Finland, Karel Vejmelka for the Czechs, and JJ Peterka for Team Germany. Those are your Utah Mammoth at the Olympics. Keller will be wearing number 91, by the way, for Team USA. We'll be wearing number 9. I'm assuming that'll be Eichel. But it will be number 91 for Keller. Saw a Team USA 91 Keller jersey in the crowd at the Delta Center the other night against the Wings.
Oh.
That was fantastic. Before we get to our free-for-all, AD, or our international report with Sam Farnsworth, wanted to just say hello and give a couple shout-outs. Our friend Trey came down from Ogden and was looking for you, AD. He got stuck with me, but got to meet Trey from Ogden, and Megan from Stockton was sitting right next to us in section 6, I believe. And she came over and said hi. She says she needs the episodes to be a little longer. And I was taken aback because we are usually not told that. In fact, we're usually told the opposite. But Megan from Stockton needs the episodes to be a little longer. So, Megan, you're welcome. We're going 30 minutes here in our first segment for you.
And Mike, maybe a little more sunscreen for you there. It looks like it's kind of worn off. So double check that. We'll come back. Sam Farnsworth, KSL 5, live in Milan. He's got it covered. He's telling stories, and he's all over ice hockey. We'll get to Sam coming up on Mammoth Daily.
It's time for the Friday Free-for-All.
It is with great pleasure that we welcome in, finally, someone talented to our programming from KSL 5. It is Sam Farnsworth, our foreign correspondent over in Milan. Sam, you got boots on the ground in Milan for the 2026 Winter Olympics over in Italy. What is the scene like over there right now?
Man, it's definitely got that Olympic vibe around the town here in Milan. It's the northern part of Italy. It's there's still, you can see, because the opening ceremonies is coming up on Thursday. You can still see a lot of the prep work going into everything around town. They're still kind of putting the last touches on things. But today was the first day where I really felt like, okay, you're starting to see more people come into the city, more media arrive in the city. You're starting to ramp up to that moment and feel that Olympic energy. So it's getting exciting for sure.
Sam, with Utah hosting another Olympics coming up in 2034, it's a big winter sports scene here with the skiing and with the speed skating, but now you look at adding another element to that with 4 hockey players from the Mammoth taking part in the Olympics, adding another piece to Utah's fabric and Utah's involvement in the Olympics, with Clayton Keller representing Team USA, Olli Maatta, Team Finland, Karel Vejmelka, Czechia, and JJ Peterka, Germany. And I know you in particular are really excited about covering some hockey over there.
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is the first time in, I believe, 12 years that they've had the NHL players back in the Olympics, right? And I know the commissioner, he had his concerns with maybe the state of the arena, but he said this is great for hockey. It's great for the players. It's great for the fans. We all got a taste of it in the Four Nations, obviously, which was one of the most exciting mid-season exhibitions, tournaments, whatever you want to call it, breaks in any pro sport ever. That was awesome. And so I think that just is fueling the excitement that's going behind this. And you mentioned the four Mammoth guys and how this is kind of adding to the fabric. It's, weaving another layer to Utah and its Olympic history and pride that it has. And it's just crazy to think that, what, 20-ish months ago or so, the NHL was still just barely a dream and just barely happening, right, in Utah.
Right.
And here we are, not only with the Utah Mammoth midway through season number 2, with a team that's so close to getting into the playoffs this year, leading in that wild card race right now, but they've already got 4 players that are going to be in the Olympics. Now, I remember, watching the Jazz growing up, how exciting it was when Stockton and Malone, when they finally allowed NBA players into the Olympics, and you had Stockton and Malone, you're like, oh my gosh, we got 2 of them, 2 guys on the dream. Well, this is 4. You got 4 guys on one of the best makeups of hockey in the entire world. Well, I'm talking about the tournament, right, as a whole.
Right.
And so this is so thrilling. It's funny because I've even been talking to some of the other media out here, and one of the other American media guys who's from Denver was asking me a little bit about what I was going to be covering. I said, well, I'm definitely going to have a heavy emphasis on hockey. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, who do you got? And I list off the 4 guys that you mentioned, Adrian. He's like, oh, you guys have 4 Olympians. I'm like, yeah, we do. And I get it. The Avalanche have a bunch too, but come on, give the Mammoth some credit. They are very talented, and it's going to be represented on the international stage.
Well, you went viral a little bit with some of your coverage walking into that arena that I'm not even going to try to say the name of it. Have you practiced saying that arena name where the hockey is going to get played? It's got a million vowels in it.
Yeah. Santa Julia.
So that's not so bad.
It's not so bad, but when you look at it, it is intimidating. Santagiulia. I've memorized it by now because I've written it so many times, but Santa Julia. Yeah.
Your videos were kind of showing like what was finished, what was done. Obviously, there's a lot of intrigue amongst the hockey folks. Like, hey, what's going on with this arena that we're hearing that it's not completed? But what did it look like when you first walked in?
Well, I didn't know what to expect because you'd heard so many things about the preparations of this arena, how far behind they were. So 1 year before the Olympics, they invited a bunch of the media to Milan and Cortina to kind of see the preparation that was going on. And KSL, we sent Alex Cabrero, one of our great news reporters and Olympic reporters, out there 1 year ago. I have video of that where it was just pillars and, steel beams and some concrete. There was like hardly anything to it. And that's when the doubts were really settling in, like, can they do this in 1 year? Well, when I showed up outside the arena, it looked pretty good. There's a lot of construction materials in the parking lot that I'm sure they're going to clean up between now and the 11th when the puck drops, but it looked pretty good. I walked in, you could tell that there was still bits of it being put together or construction cleanup, when you walk in a new home or whatever. But as soon as I walked in the portal and I saw the ice, I saw the seats, I'm like, hey, this is it. This is a hockey rink. And I looked around and it's not just a thrown together hockey rink. They actually did a good job. And it looks like an NHL style rink, a professional style rink. The one exception is they have one end of it that is temporary seating. And that was intentional. At first I thought, oh, the temporary seating, they had to bring it in because they didn't finish the seating at the one end of the ice. But it's intentional. And the reason being is because this arena that they're building isn't going to be a sports first venue after the Olympics. It's going to be an arts venue for theater, for music, for concerts and things like that. So where that removable seating is where a stage, a more permanent stage, is going to be put in later on. But it looks good. It's ready for hockey, man.
Sam, what's the scene like outside for this Winter Olympics? How's the snow? What's the talk about the conditions for the outdoor stuff?
Yeah, it's so at least all the skiing events and sledding events are up in the mountains where today they got a bunch of snow. Here in Milan, it's been raining a lot, and I think we're going to get a little bit of snow this week, but it's been mostly rain, a little more mild. Not quite as mild as it is in Salt Lake City right now, um, but yeah, the weather is cooperating where it needs to cooperate. And in Milan, everything is in arenas anyway. It's all inside with the speed skating, the hockey, the figure skating, and things like that. So the weather's definitely cooperating and being favorable for Italy for these games.
Obviously for us, hockey is the big focus, right? But as
Yeah.
you are there on the scene, like is hockey the number one thing people are buzzing about? Is it everything, or is figure skating number one? Like what are people in Milan Cortina like most excited about? What are they talking about in the cafes and the coffee shops?
Well, the excitement's just ramping up. I think so. If for those who are listening that were in Salt Lake City in '02, you might remember the buildup to that. There was a lot of stress for people who lived there, and a lot of people just wanted to get out of town. Like, I'm going to leave town for 3 weeks. I don't need all these people coming in, bringing all the busyness and stress. I'm getting a little bit of that sense here in
Wow.
Milan, a little bit. It's a bigger city, but you can tell that there's a little bit of like, oh, there's the traffic patterns are getting messed up a little bit. The metro systems are going to be a little more packed and things like that. But when it comes down to the events, I think the thing that they're most excited about is the alpine events, the skiing. I mean, that's just such a big part of their tradition in the Alps, in northern Italy, that they definitely have a lot of pride in what they do there. I'm very excited to see how they respond to hockey, though, because I do. I have spoken with a few Italians who just can't wait for it. So I'm excited to see how they respond to it.
Sam, what stories are you looking forward to telling or exploring as you're going to be on TV? What, all day over there and watching events all night, 24/7? But what do y'all at KSL 5 have up your sleeves to kick things off and start telling the stories of the
Yeah.
Mammoth skaters and the
Mhm.
Utahns in general over at the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much leaving no story untold that we can get our hands on. There's more. I think there's 81 Utah athletes at these games, and
Wow.
that's people who live in Utah, train full time in Utah, or have gone to college in Utah. A lot of the skiers, when they come to Park City to train, they end up enrolling at University of Utah or Salt Lake Community College or Westminster, one of those schools. But there's 81 athletes, so we have our hands full. Some of the fun events right before men's hockey begins. I'm going to spend 4 days going up to a town called Lavino up in the mountains. It's about well, with the trains and everything, it's going to take me about 5.5 hours to get there. So it's not close, but we have a lot of Salt Lake based skiers up there that have won medals in the past. One of them's name is Alex Hall. He won a gold in Beijing. He's back. So I'm going to spend 4 days up there getting acquainted with their surroundings, telling those stories before I get back in time for the puck to drop for the United States on the 12th. And I definitely want to and plan to be in the arena to see Clayton Keller get out on skates with that number 91 USA
Oh,
sweater on. It's gonna look good, man. I can't wait.
that's awesome. I
I
got.
gotta
Oh, go
give,
ahead.
give me just give me 1 second. 1 second.
Oh yeah,
Hold on.
this is live breaking Olympic news right now.
Okay, that was more than 1 second. That was more than 1 second. But this is another story I'm gonna do, guys. I gotta show this to you because I know you'll appreciate it.
Yes.
And I know it's a little outdated, but still. Okay.
Oh,
It made
oh,
it made the trip to Milan with me.
let's
My
go.
inaugural Utah hockey sweater made the trip. I'm gonna put that on and wear it outside the arena for some of the games. I just want to see how hockey fans respond to the Utah sweater, to see if they recognize it, to see if they know the NHL team that is in Salt Lake City. I'll put my meta glasses on and record so I can get their reactions, you know. But that's going to be one of the stories I hope turns out pretty good. But I definitely want to see what hockey fans think of someone walking around Milan outside of Santa Giulia Stadium with a Utah sweater on. So we'll see what happens.
I love that. That is going to be fantastic. That mountain blue, man. They should make one of the Olympic rings. It should be mountain blue. But I got
Definitely.
two more for you. I know you're a busy guy. I know your sleep schedule's crazy. I wanted to ask about that. It's an 8-hour time difference. So, what is your life like having to do all these hits on the 10 o'clock news Mountain
Yeah.
Time? But what's that like 6 a.m. your time? And then,
Yep.
are there any like odd sporting events? Because now there's a whole bunch of events in the Olympics, right? Are there any odd events that you're excited to cover that you know you're going to be watching?
So the first half of that question, I feel like it was just a year and a half ago that the summer games happened in Paris, and I was fortunate enough to go and cover those games as well. And the first 4 or 5 days, I genuinely thought I was gonna go to sleep and never wake up again because my sleep system and deprivation was so out of whack, and I just was, like, not getting it. But then I got into a rhythm and a routine. I feel like because it's the same time difference, that the routine, as crazy as it is, hopefully I'll slide into it a little bit better. But yeah, it's basically I split my sleep into a couple of different shifts with this. You know, when we're done with this interview, I'm going to wrap up doing one of my stories I've been doing, and then I'll go to bed for 3-ish hours. I'll get up, go to my live shot location to do my live shot, which is like you mentioned, 6 a.m. here in Milan, but 10 p.m. Back in Salt Lake City. Then when I'm done with that, I'll come back to the hotel, maybe eat a little breakfast and crash for a little bit more for another 3 or 4 hours. Then I'll get up and rinse and repeat. Um, but as far as the kind of some of the strange events, I wish I could. I got a little more acquainted with curling in the last few months. I wish I could cover it. That's up in Cortina, which is not close to Milan. Cortina, we have two reporters out in Cortina. Cortina is about 5.5, 6 hours away from here.
Oh,
So this is one of the most widespread Olympic Games in history. In fact, it might be the most widespread. It is so spread out. Um, and I just, in a side note, tangent, I saw that the LA Olympics announced that their soccer is going to be played like all over the country. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? I
what?
get it. They want to put it in the best, they want to put it in the best stadiums that the United States has to offer, but keep it in Southern California. You got plenty to there. It's a logistical nightmare with how spread out it is. Anyway, that's my tangent. But as far as some of the crazy events go, there is a new event sort of with the moguls skiing. It's where they kind of go down on the bumps and then they hit jumps and do little flips. They're doing it with like pairs, like and mixed pairs, I believe. So men and women. So they've changed up. It's nothing new. It's just a little different format.
Okay. I stay away from moguls like the plague. Adrian's led me down a couple.
They'll kill your knees, man. And if you snowboard, stay. I've tried the moguls on the snowboard. It's nah. Stay away.
Sam, gotta ask you, what number of Olympics is this for you to have attended? I'm proud to have been at the O2 Olympics here in Salt Lake. I was at the Rio Olympics in 2016.
Oh.
Was planning on Tokyo and didn't work out with the world climate at the time. But what about you?
Oh man, I'm jealous about the 2016 Rio. That would have been a bucket list one for me. For me, so if you count being a spectator in 2002, I went with my dad and brother to some events. So there's that one. And then I was supposed to go to Beijing 4 years ago. There was a lot of drama behind that because it was just post COVID, right?
Yep.
But Beijing, China was still being very strict with a lot of things. We had to pass a bunch of tests. We were constantly COVID testing here in the States before we went. And they had a totally closed Olympic like campus, I guess. Every Olympic venue, it was all in a closed area where no one could get in, and those in couldn't get out. And so if you flew in to cover the games or participate, you were bussed right into that bubble where you had to stay. Well, apparently NBC employees who had gone out earlier, who had tested negative in the United States, were testing positive in China, and then they get shuttled off to quarantine, and they had to stay there until they tested negative. And so KSL decided just about a week before I was supposed to leave that, hey, we're pulling the plug. We're not sent. They sent one guy. They sent Alex Cabrero, but they pulled the plug. So I covered those games from Park City. So that's a long answer for you. I kind of count Beijing, even though I didn't go. So Paris would have been my first as a journalist and now my second as a journalist.
Awesome.
Well, we're excited for the coverage from you and the team over at KSL 5. It's going to be a great couple weeks. Fired up for the hockey, especially obviously Keller, Pamelka, Peterka, Mata, all representing their respective countries, along with scores of Utahns as well. Sam, thanks for the time. Enjoy Italy. Eat all the pasta you can, and have fun.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'm glad I could hop on with you.
This is Mammoth Daily.
Kicking off our local hockey segment here on our Friday free-for-all episode of Mammoth Daily. AD, you've got your finger on the pulse of all the happenings here around State 45. What do we got?
Mike, let's give a couple shout-outs to some local hockey podcasts. We've got the Utah Puck Report with Jay Stevens. You can get it at kslsports.com. You've got SLC Puck with our buddy Austin Facer. And Austin gave us a tip for our local hockey segment this week, Mike. We've got the Park City Adult Pioneers playing their home opener next Friday in Park City at the Black Rock Event Center. It's brand new. It's right off of Highway 40 there by Jordanelle. It's a brand new rink for Park City. The Park City Ice Arena is packed, so this has opened up some ice time up in the Summit County area, but they are a semi-pro team. It's about 1/3 former Utes, 1/3 former Grizzlies, 1/3 Park City kids, but it's adult semi-pro. They're hosting Reno, and Jordan Stone is one of their owners. He played for the Grizzlies, and I met him at Mammoth Week last year. Great guy, friend for life. So wanted to make sure we gave the Park City Adult Pioneers a shout out. Jack Skilly, former NHLer, is their coach. And they're also going to play an outdoor game in Midway on Saturday, February 21st. So how cool is that? Your Park City Adult Pioneers home opener coming up on Friday. And Mike, they were strategic about this. They laid out the beginnings of their home schedule so that the Mammoth would be on the Olympic break, just to spread out the hockey a little more here in the state.
That's great. Let's go Pioneers. Reno in town. Okay, big tip.
I got one more for you, Mike. Yeah. At their home opener, homegrown NHLer Trevor Lewis is going to be there for a meet and greet. So you can meet the two-time Stanley Cup champion.
Let's go,
Trevor Lewis. ParkCityPioneers.com is the website to check it out.
Oh, more hockey. That's fantastic. You think they have open tryouts?
I don't know. I didn't see anything about the tryouts when I was working on this.
Tryouts for a stick boy, I meant, not to not to play. That's fantastic. Good luck to the Pioneers.
Isn't that cool? I thought it was awesome. College hockey. We have a three-peater from the Wasatch Cup. Our Utah Beanpot from last week, remember, down at Provo? Mm-hmm. Weber State wins the Wasatch Cup for the third straight season. They won the championship game 5-2 over Utah State. Also, Mike, I wanted to give a shout out to one of their players. I saw this on the Weber State Instagram page, and I thought it was really, really cool. Congratulations to Andrew Alonzo, who has 77 points and played in his 100th collegiate game last weekend. He's graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in film studies with a focus in graphic design. He wants to pursue a career involved in sports broadcasting and the sports media field. Alonzo is an all-around great teammate and can fill in anywhere on the ice. Wishing you the best on your new journey. So, how awesome is that? 100 games, wants to be a broadcaster. I thought it would fit well with us.
I like this guy. Where's number 9? I like that. Used to wear number 9. Alonzo, you are welcome in the booth anytime. Anytime. Go Wildcats.
Yeah, Weber State, best D2 team in the state this year, Mike. And they win the Wasatch Cup. Again, let's talk some D1 college hockey, because both the men and women's teams at Utah are in good spots. The Utah D1 team ranked 12th in the country with 6 games left. They came out of the break, swept Grand Canyon, who's now ranked 13th. So moved above them in the rankings. And the Utah women's hockey team, their highest ranking ever, 16th. With 3 weekends left, they're at Colorado this
Let's
weekend.
go, ladies. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Great work. And great work by you, Adrian, putting our local hockey segment together, as always.
Yeah, and Mike, the best part about the local hockey segment is the tips we get from guys like Austin Facer at SLC Puck and Chris McKenzie sending us updates on the Wasatch Wild 10U team. So keep it coming. Quentin gets us updates on the happenings around the local rinks. So this is what you guys help us make it. So.
And send in more clips too. We had someone send in a clip from Ogden, right, a few weeks back. I
Ogden Hockey League.
Yeah, send us some more like adult league clips, or whether it's a live barn clip or anything like that. Like we want to get into that. We want to evaluate these men's league, adult league clips that we're seeing. I got a chance to play up in Ogden the other day.
Heard.
With Captain J and the Bison. I'm sitting in the room like I'm terrible, right? I'm terrible. I play at the lowest level.
You won all your face-offs, I heard.
I was outstanding at the dot. I was cheating. I wasn't letting the puck touch the ice. It's supposed to hit the ice. NHL, you get kicked out for that. OHL, Ogden Hockey League, not so much. But Captain J is like rallying the troops in the locker room before the game. And again, you're talking to a guy who like can barely tie his skates. And Captain J pulls out the whiteboard and starts drawing up our warm-up sequences. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought you just skated around before a game. I wasn't ready to go through like a full warm-up. And it was like an NHL warm-up, like you circle out high at the blue line, get the pass, shoot it on goal. I'm like, I know what it looks like because I see it every night with the Mammoth, but I'm not qualified to perform this. Just let me skate around and try to like warm up a little bit here in the 90-second warm up that we're allotted. But it was fun. It was a great time. So thanks to the Bison for letting me join.
That's so cool. Matt stopped by section 6-7 to let me know how great you were, Mike. So
Matt was my line mate.
Job.
Matt, I'm sorry. I couldn't do more for you. We lost 1-0 to the Venom. Goalie was tough, obviously. Only goal that was scored in that game was banked in off of our goalie's back. So our goalie was pretty good too.
That's awesome.
But Matt and James, my 2 poor linesmen, got stuck with me. Had a blast with those guys.
That's so cool. We love it. So folks, send us the updates, send us the invites to join your teams if you need a sub. We got Mike right here. So he's available.
Free agent. Yeah. No, thanks everybody. We'll like Adrian said, we'll chime in during the break from time to time. Not going to have any regular scheduling. Just going to pop in. We'll do some mailbags still. So if you see anything at the Olympics that you have questions with, if you have any questions about the Mammoth or just comments, doesn't have to be a question, it could be a comment. Feel free to hit us up on Twitter He's at 801 Adrian Denny. I'm at Mike_Folta. You can also comment in the YouTube comments as well. We see all of those. So excited for the Olympics. It's going to be great. Remember, there's a trade freeze right now, a roster freeze. So not going to be any NHL trades during the break. We can get to that afterwards. Trade deadline coming up first week of March. We'll have plenty to talk to then. But for now, Vacation Mike heading out. AD, enjoy the slopes, my friend.
Back on Monday, February 23rd, our next regular Monday through Friday episode. But as Mike said, we'll be in intermittently as we can. Enjoy the hockey, everybody, and go Team USA and go Mammoth, our 4 skaters over in Milan.